Hey guys, welcome back to another comic book review here on Toned In Entertainment. Now admittedly, issue number 1 of Tmnt, Cross Stranger Things, didn't wow me as I gave that issue a 6.5 out of 10. Now, if I was not a huge fan of both franchises, I would have said sayonara to this comic book series. However, when issue 1 came to its conclusion, while some of our heroes look like it might be bleak for them, I did see a slight chance that this series could get itself out of the upside down. And yes, I'm happy to report that issue number 2 is better than issue number 1. But what are my overall thoughts? Well, let's get on with my comic book review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cross Stranger Things, Chapter 2, titled Captive. As issue 2 starts off, we see Chief Hopper having a conversation with Eleven, where he's actually not being his uptight self and giving her the opportunity to essentially have a golden ticket and spend the day however she sees fit. But more on this later. As we catch up with Raphael, Donatello, Dustin, and Max, we see that they are being held captive by Baxter Stockman. But Raphael's going to show that he's not the biggest fan of being kept locked up like a zoo animal, and will show that having Brawn in this situation will be the key to their success in escaping. The other half of our heroes have ventured underground to explore and will find themselves getting quite the shell shock when they find themselves confronted by Demogorgons inside of an out-of-commission subway train. Now earlier when I said that Chief Hopper wasn't acting like himself, well, that's because it's not reality, and Baxter Stockman is not only controlling what Eleven sees, but he's also connected himself to her in hopes of opening a gate. Which, as Dustin puts it, there are no good reasons to open a gate, they're always bad. Now, after taking matters into his own hands, Raphael will clearly figure a way to try and make this battle an even playing field. Now, as far as Mikey and Leonardo go, well, they're gonna have a shell of a time matching strength with the Demogorgons, and will need some help from Lucas, Mike, and Will, who can't wait to use their new wonderful toys. Now, for my review of Chapter 2 of TMNT Cross Stranger Things. The story in issue number 1, I gave it a 7, but here in issue number 2, I'm gonna give it an 8, as this was the type of story I was hoping for from this comic series. Chapter 2 sees these two franchises really gelling well with one another. I really like the fact that we get to see Raphael having to use his brains to solve his problem, and the guys from Stranger Things having to use some muscles if they're going to try to take over the Demogorgons. The art, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. While nothing blows me away in this issue, it's definitely an improvement over issue number 1. Now for momentum, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. For a comic book series I almost gave up on after a lackluster issue number 1, I'm glad I stuck it out, as in issue number 3, we'll get to see how Raphael will handle being trapped in the mental state of a battle of both Baxter Stockman and Eleven. And will the sword and nunchucks be stronger than the demons from another dimension? Well, we're gonna see what these guys can do when they have the Turtles' weapons in their possession. Now in my review of issue number 1, I said that this was a 3-issue series, and at that time, that's all I could find were 3 issues with release dates, but in fact, this is gonna be a 4-issue series. Now the fun factor, it gets an 8 out of 10. While the story was definitely an improvement over issue number 1, I wish the pictures packed more of a punch. So my final score for Chapter 2 of TMNT Cross Stranger Things is going to be a 7.75 out of 10. Now issue number 3 is scheduled to be released on September 20th, and I will be reviewing it here on the channel. So if you haven't already, guys, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos. Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.